What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Celtics Daily Channel with me, Mike Zakarian, as we continue to just cruise on through this NBA season. We are past the halfway point, baby. This is an official sample size, right? We're no longer waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like this, we are what we are at this point. Arrows pointing up. You love to see it. Celtics were back last night against the Pacers. We're going to talk about that game. We're going to talk about our guy Sammy, who's been on fire lately, and then we'll bounce around the league a little bit, get into some of your thoughts from our previous video. But before we do that, do me a favor. If it's your first time here, or if it's not your first time here and you just haven't done it yet, hit the subscribe, like the video, hype the stream, do all that stuff. It's good for business. It's good for business. So go ahead and do that. But let's talk some dubs. Let's welcome to the Dub Club, baby. The Celtics get back to their winning ways after kind of slipping a little bit in that Detroit game. They come back home for some home cooking. Win this one 119-104, and this was nice. They were kind of in control. Take a 10-point lead in the first quarter, 20-point lead in a halftime, and then just kind of cruise the rest of the way with a 15-point W. And this was good, man. It kind of everybody chipped in a little bit naturally, almost legally speaking. At this point, Jaylen Brown scored 30 points because that's what he do on 50% shooting from the field. So he goes 11 for 22, drops 30 on him, gets to the line 9 times. Also had 10 boards. JB leading the way on the glass for the Celtics. 5 dimes, also had 3 steals, which helped negate 5 turnovers he had. Nimi was out there. We had a block party last night. Nemias Queta, 5 blocks and a steal out there. He was 1 board shy of a W-dub. He had 17 and 9. Sam Hauser, I mentioned, man. Sam Hauser is cooking. He goes 5 for 7 from three-point land. 5 for 7 from 3. He finished with 17. You had Peyton Pritchard, all 5 starters in double figures. Peyton Pritchard had 10, 8, and 5, did a little bit of everything. Derrick White still not really shooting the ball here. He had 13 points, 5 boards, and 5 dimes. I was listening to Jay King from The Athletic and Still Potable show, and he was talking about it, I think it was last night, right? It must have been last night, about how, like, Derrick White's probably not making an all-star team, right? Just statistically speaking, not putting up enough numbers to be selected as an all-star. I feel like Derrick White is like the hipster version of an NBA all-star. He is the 10 years ago Williamsburg of Brooklyn, where it's like cool to say Derrick White should be an all-star, yet no one's actually going to select him to be an all-star. I do think this was his best shot. Like, if we, I think he's averaging like 17 points a game. If he was kind of a little bit better with the 3 ball, maybe a little bit more efficient with the shooting, if the number was closer to 20, we could see it, because it does feel kind of nuts for what's probably going to be a 2-seeded Boston Celtics as we enter into All-Star break weekend when we get there, to only have one representative from the All-Star from the team in Jaylen Brown, who, congrats to JB, named a starter for the first time in his career. You just love to see it, man. Again, like the JB love, I can't stop. I can't get enough of it, because we expected the numbers to be up. Like, I thought he was going to be more of a fantasy basketball god than anything else this year, and for him to do this on a winning team is just incredible. But back to Derrick White. As Jay King was mentioning, like, whether it's Spoelstra pre or post game, Steve Kerr pre or post game, Rick Carlisle, like, they always mention how important, how impressive, how valuable somebody like Derrick White is. So it seems it's funny that everybody's like, oh yeah, he's the best, but he's probably not going to make an all-star team. All of that to say, if this shot starts falling a little bit more efficiently again, watch out. I feel like that really is going to unlock some stuff. And I do think part of it goes to him being asked to do more than he's probably comfortable doing offensively, because he has to do so much defensively, right? He is required, whether it's on-ball defending, whether it's like rim protection as a guard. Like, Derrick White does so much for this team that this season, when we're like, hey man, can you also score 25 a game? That's kind of a big ask, right? So I think we're seeing some of the struggles offensively because of that. But still, shout out Derrick White. Thought that was just a good conversation. Let's keep going with the bench here. Amari Williams got some minutes. Good to see the G League king, Amari Williams, the rook. Only played 4 minutes. Did not collect a single stat, but still good to see him out there. Simons had 9 in his 22 minutes. Luka Garza had 8 and 6 in his 16 minutes. And yeah, Celtics just moved to 27 and 16. About the bench and Simons, I was listening to Bill Simmons talk a little bit about it on his most recent podcast. And Bill talks more as a fan than a journalist, so take all of this with a grain of salt. But he's really leaning into Simons not getting moved now at the deadline either. And again, if Boston wants to prioritize financial flexibility for the future, I do think maybe you see a Simons, maybe you see a Sam Hauser, but I don't think it's going to be something get moved, excuse me, but I don't think it's going to be something that is forced. And they were throwing out some names like in Anthony Davis and why he would be such a great fit, but I just don't see them taking a big swing. And yes, on paper, Anthony Davis would be a good fit, like another big to throw in there who can provide it on both ends. Like, yeah, of course, but why? Why are you going to sacrifice future to get somebody who I don't know plays like 50 games a year? Plays 50, he get basically makes $1 million for every game he's going to play, right? Because you know you're going to have to extend him. He's going to make around 50 million. Like if AD, if we knew that AD was like, actually, yeah, I'm going to sign an extension, but I'm only looking for like 28 million a year, then yeah, sign me up. Even if it was 35 million a year, yeah, sign me up. But he's going to be looking for max money. This is going to be his last big contract of the year, and you just can't. You can't do that. You can't do that. It doesn't make sense with this team. But anyways, all that to say, like, the Simons and Sam Hauser rumors, I think, are going to continue until we get to the trade deadline, which now is just like a week and a half away, I think, right? Those rumors are going to continue, but I still kind of think the Celtics are going to be keeping their cards closer to the vest and just say like, hey, listen, we'll pick up the phone. If you have an offer, we'll pick up the phone. We'll listen to you. But I don't think they're like getting ready to press the red button, right? I don't think they're just desperately trying to make a move here. I think they're really happy with this team, and they did a lot of the financial flexibility or maneuvering this past offseason, right? By removing Drew Holiday, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Cornett, like all of those moves kind of set us up for where we are now. We're like, yes, you could still make one more move to maybe make the team a little bit better, but also a little bit financially more successful. That's not the right word, but palatable. But I don't think it needs to be forced. I don't think it needs to be forced, and I imagine that's the direction they go. So it kind of seems like they're gonna stay the way they are. One other thing too that was popping up, and I meant to put this on the the list of stuff over there on that side. I don't know why I pointed to that side. Everybody's taking a turn doing an article about like, man, is Jason Tatum gonna be able to come back and not be the guy? Is Jason Tatum unselfish enough? How is this going to affect it? It seems crazy to me that we are, and we did this like 10 years ago, or not that long ago, but like 7 years ago, where they're like, can Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum even coexist? Can you be a winning basketball team? How does this affect them? You have 2 1Bs, right? Like we just spend so much time and energy creating an issue that doesn't exist. Tatum never in his career has been like, I'm not getting enough shots. Ball's not in my hand enough. Jaylen Brown never in his career has said that. And like, yes, sure, Jaylen Brown's cooking right now, but I don't see Tatum coming back into this rotation after having this catastrophic injury. I don't see him coming back and being like, yeah, it's pretty cool that we're the 2 seed in the East, but I got to be pounding the rock. Like, we're just creating issues that don't exist. This is like toxic relationship bullshit. This is, you're creating a thing that, no, it has not been said. And like, I know right now, and if you're in the Celtics media, your one responsibility is to either have a video of Tatum, have a thought on when he's going to return. You got to like, algorithmically speaking, you got to put Tatum in something, right? But man, why are we doing that? Why are we creating? This is why people hate Boston media sometimes. Like, there's no need to do that. At no point in either of their careers has an ounce of selfishness been exuded. Like exuded? I don't know. That's not a word. But it's never happened. It's never happened. Yet we're just like, I mean, yes, of course. I think there are real questions of like, I think the bigger question is like, what can Tatum do when he comes back? Like, what is he capable of doing? Is he capable of playing 30 minutes? Probably not. So if it's 20 minutes, what do those 20 minutes look like? Are they doing them? Is it like one stretch off the bench at the end of the first to halfway through the second? Is it like quick 4-minute stints, like 5 4-minute stints throughout the game, so he's ready to go for the last 4 minutes of the game? Like, what does that look like? I'm sure it's going to take some getting used to, of this new role, of what he can do defensively. All that stuff makes sense. But the idea of like this selfishness or like the ego, like I don't think Tatum's going to be like, hey, JB, listen, man, I know you're averaging 30 a game. I know you're going to be first team All NBA, but yeah, ball needs to be in my hand, bro. No, they want to win games, man. They've shown us that throughout their entire career. They're here to win. If this was a real issue, one of those dudes would be on another team by now. You don't re-up, Anyways, sorry for getting upset. Sorry for getting upset. All right, I wanted to talk about Sammy here for a second because Hauser, I want to just his last 10 games. Because he's been just shooting the hell out of the ball right now, and it's good to see that back, right? So Hauser's last 10 games, he's averaging 13 points, 4 boards, and 2 dimes a game, all right? So let's run off some of these. So this is since the new year. That actually works out well. Ready? So he goes 5 for 7 from 3, 2 for 8 from 3, 3 for 7 from 3, 2 for 6, 5 for 7, 2 for 7, 3 for 8, 10 for 21, 4 for 7, 5 for 7. He's cooking, man. He's averaging over 4 threes a game during this 10-game stretch. And listen, we were beating him up. We were beating him up early on because, like, if you're not going to shoot the ball well, what are we doing out there, you know? And now that we're seeing him, the 3 ball's consistent. The starting 5, I think. What did I think I put this. I don't know if I referenced this the other day. But if you look at the best starting 5's net rating, I think Bill Simmons actually tweeted this out just the other day. And what was shocking about it was the Charlotte Hornets had like the second best 5-man net rating out of all the teams. It was like the Thunder. I'm going to actually pull it up right now just so I can reference it. So here we go. The number 1 net rating lineup, right? SGA, Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren, J-Dub, Case, and Wallace. That makes sense. They have a net rating of 25.3. Number 2 is Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball, Moussa Diabate, Brandon Miller, and Con Knipple at 25.2. And then third is the Celtics, and it's JB, it's White, it's Keita, it's Pritchard, and it's Hauser. So that's good. That's in 21 games played, too. They've got the most minutes out of those 3 teams, too. So, yeah, the Hauser Renaissance is upon us, and you love to see it. You love to see it. So glad Sammy's getting some love here. You know, he was due for it. Let's just quickly pop around the league here. So again, I mentioned the Celtics after dropping that game to the Pistons, they pick up another W. Right, they're 6-4 in their last 10. They now have a game and a half lead over the Knicks. Knicks finally got a win last night. They beat the Brooklyn Nets by like 50 plus or whatever. But they have a game and a half lead over the Knicks and the Raptors. Cavs dropped a game last night, I think, right? No, they won last night, excuse me. Cavs are 3 games back from the Celtics. So the Cavs are in the 5 seed and 3 games back. So it's starting to create some cushion, right? I think the Pistons are starting to pull away a little bit. They just seem too good. They seem too good here. But I know we've done this recently, but just like quickly, this next stretch of games, like heading into February, there's like a real opportunity here for them to create some space. So Brooklyn, we got Brooklyn on Friday. So Brooklyn tomorrow night at Brooklyn. There's like a 20% chance I go to this game. Not sure yet. And then a back-to-back at Chicago. So a little mini road trip here. Brooklyn and Chicago. Then at home against Portland, Atlanta, Sacramento, Milwaukee. Also, if you missed the Milwaukee stuff last night, Bucks, I believe, lost that game to OKC, right? And Giannis only took 11 shots, and then he was real cranky after the game. And I don't know, I'm just enjoying this downfall of the Bucks. But anyways, that's Brooklyn, Chicago, Portland, Atlanta, Sacramento, Milwaukee. Then at Dallas, at Houston gets a little spicy. And then it really picks up. It's Miami, New York, Chicago again, Golden State, which seemed like a tough game on the road in the Bay Area, but now there's no Jimmy Butler, so that really changes things. And then Lakers, Phoenix, Denver, Brooklyn, all that stuff. So the Celtics really have an opportunity here to just kind of create some space, just kind of cruise into that all-star break. Maybe they make a move, maybe they don't, but I don't know. Spicy. Let's get into some of your comments here from the last video. Just a reminder, hit that subscribe if you haven't done it yet. If you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe. All right, here we go. Ridden and Mixed DJ says, how could you not think that if Tatum was playing, this was a win? This team is better than expected. Yeah, man, I agree. I don't think anybody's saying that, although maybe some of the media is saying that. And then, this was a light comment day, but I like this one. Alfred Gomez says, hey, can we take a look at Sabonis? I think he'd be huge for us. So here's the issue with Sabonis here. Sabonis, man, so he missed last night's game for the Sacramento Kings. He's been coming off the bench since his injury here, so he's been back for like 3 or 4 games, has been coming off the bench, and I don't really know what Sacramento is doing with him. I know he's like technically available. I don't know how much he would cost picks-wise. The Kings just seem to be a dumpster fire organization, so I do think if you have an opportunity to trade with the Kings, you should take advantage of it. But this is Sabonis' contract, okay? So the old Sabone bone, right? He makes $42 million this year, and he's got a total of 2 years and $94 million left. So you're basically paying $40+ million a year. And I like Sabonis' offensive game. He leaves a lot to desire defensively. But this, to me, seems like you're doing a little bit of Anthony Davis math, right? Where obviously it's a poor man's Anthony Davis. AD Sabonis a little bit more available. Anthony Davis a little bit better. I think it's hard to win with Sabonis as your anchor on the defense, right? I think that's a lot to ask for him to do that stuff defensively. So I'm not as interested in Sabonis at that price point. Again, if this was a little bit cheaper. But I think the Celtics need to be, if they're trying to beef up the bigs, which I do think they should do, I think you need to be focusing at like around a 20 to 25 million a year number. I think when we get higher up in those numbers, it gets a little bit trickier, right? A little bit trickier. But we're going to call it there. Stay active in the comments. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back here tomorrow. Celtics Nets tomorrow night. Get excited. Hope you guys have a good one. We're out.